Okay, I'm gonna start recording. Welcome to GameBreakers. This is our level up session. I just sprung it on everybody. This is Diamond, Allison, and David. We may or may not use this footage, but we're leveling up characters from 10th to 11th and just bullshitting about how we're gonna do it. It's kind of a big level up, so we're gonna spend some time there. All right, carry on.
Everyone try to be especially boring right now.
So blinky. This is great. All right. So I'm looking at multi-classing, and I'm sort of like Druid, Sorcerer, Warlock are the big ones, and I'm double-checking the requirements for those because I didn't roll particularly well with Struana. Like, she's pretty in the middle. She's not a min-maxer character, and I've absolutely played some min-max characters, and they're a lot of fun to play, but, you know, having to sort of like, it might work and I might die is a little closer to real life.
Not how the dice went this time. So sometimes you roll an 18, sometimes you roll a whole pack of 13 to 15.
I also really like the distinctly average hero as a thing.
Sure. We've kind of made a point of it over the thing. You were a C student, you know. You're clever, but you're not top of the class. You never had to try too hard, so you never really got, you know.
Clever, but not especially clever.
Right? You're very passionate, but sometimes you get married to a bad idea. I'm gonna hang out on this side of the portal. What could go wrong?
One of the things that I like about it is my favorite. So we live in an area that has we're recording, so right, that's the thing that's happening. Okay,
Yeah.
We're living in an area that has this fantastic event once a year called the Kinetic Grand Championship. It used to be the Kinetic Sculpture Race. There were worldwide ones. And there's an award given out each year called the Mediocrity Award. And it is for the team that comes dead center. They come dead center in speed, in art, and in engineering. And you can't plan for that. It just happens. And the reason that award exists is because the glorious founder, Hobart Brown, said that most people are mediocre. We spend most of our lives being mediocre, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's really good validate.
The best at being mediocre, you deserve a trophy, right?
Yeah, you're the most mediocre.
Right, mediocrity doesn't deserve an award. Exceptional mediocrity.
Because you can't make it happen, it's my favorite. Because everything else you can have some say in, but this one is just straight luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's perfect. So Struana's picking the spellcaster class. Stan, you going back to fighter, or are you going to paladin?
I'm going to paladin. I get aura of courage.
Oh.
That people within 10 feet of me can't be frightened.
Ooh.
While I am conscious.
That's really handy. You have run into a lot of the things with fright.
We're not often that close to each other. It does at 18th level it gets to 30 feet. But it's something I'll keep in mind. Certainly, because I have a few auras now.
Yeah.
I just keep getting cooler to be around.
I feel like I really like the druid idea. However, there's not a lot of benefit at the first level.
Yeah.
I get access to druidic spells, woohoo! But as a lore bard, I sort of already have access to other spells, and I have a bunch of druidic cantrips already.
Yeah, you wouldn't get wild shape at first level, right?
No,
Nope.
that doesn't happen until second level, I think.
Yeah, and you have to really want it.
And you know, even if it makes sense with your character, if you don't really want it, it doesn't make sense to get because you're still playing the character.
Yeah, and I don't know that Struana has Well, I mean, she spent a lot of time like hanging out with beasts and observing wildlife and taking notes about assassin vines and shit like that. So, you know, it wouldn't be out of character for her if you dipped 2, maybe 3 and picked up Circle of the Moon. I don't know. It's a lot of dip for a bard. It's like severely delaying your 9th level spells.
Yeah, but mixing up the other 2, that can get fun.
I don't remember the rules for it off the top of my head, but I think you could also multi-class back into Bard to get a different Bard path.
This is a good level for me to do it because I have no additional Bard anything at this level.
Okay.
Spells, but
I'm not positive how it would work. I don't know what that would do with your spell casting, to be honest. It just occurred to me that I think it's an option.
I've never multi-classed. This is not something I've ever done with a character. I tend to go pretty straight characters and let them be their own version of baffling. Yeah, I'm the guy. Everyone has their like half draconic Twinkie things, and I'm like human fighter. Let's go.
Everybody needs one.
I tend to build just right down the line. Yeah. The last character I made is the most varied one I've ever built, and he has 3 different classes.
Wow.
I will cherry pick for concept. Like if there's something in another class that would really just do perfect for that. But I like to cherry pick. Usually I won't do like 10 and 5 and 5 or anything like that. I'm in it to get a single ability that fills out the character. Like it's something that person would spend that time again.
I do it for life story purposes. Like what makes sense for their arc.
Yeah.
The character I just built for a one-shot was 3 rogue, 3 cleric, 3 bard.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah.
Interesting. And would you then advance rogue and go to arcane trickster?
He was actually an assassin.
Nice.
Like was a criminal and not a good person. Someone reached out and redeemed him, and he became a cleric. And then that went south, and he got a job as an entertainer.
Went south. So CliqClaq is getting a level of rogue, yeah?
Yeah. Which I'm kind of should have done a long time ago.
Me too. The only other suggestion I would have for you is artificer.
That's not in my book.
It's in one of the Unearthed Arcana. Actually, it's in the Eberron Unearthed Arcana. I linked it to you once a long time ago. If you go to orcpub2.com, it's in one of their selectable dropdowns. Well, the very short version is it gives you the ability to make magical things. It's right up your crafty road.
What would they have to be narratively magical?
What do you mean?
Like, could we use? I'm asking you as the DM. Could we use the mechanics of what they've established and just narratively, it's not magic. He's just built something incredible.
Potentially. I mean, it's definitely magically flavored, but the idea is it's sort of like the fusion of science and magic.
Right.
It was originally considered a subclass of the wizard, but then they made it its own thing.
Okay, well, let me take a look at that one.
I gotta go check on food. Be right back.
All right.
Warlock might be the only thing I can multi-class as. All right. So what I'm understanding from the the way that spell slots work for a multi-class spellcaster is that if I take a level in Warlock, then I'm still going to get a sixth level slot, but I can't learn a 6th level spell yet. So I can merely use that slot. That is
another spell, yeah.
To make something even more ridiculous.
Right.
That makes sense, because you're that experienced in general, but you don't have that much experience in that level.
I've also been spending, like, Struana has been spending a lot of time in the library. A lot of time. She is so sick of spending time in the library.
Right, when you take space, it's out in the lobby with, like, wizardy folks doing wizardy stuff. Oh, David, we looked at Artificer, and oh, good golly. So there, at level 1, you choose whether you're an alchemist artificer or a gunsmith artificer. One of these two options gives you a 2-handed thunder cannon. I'll let you guess which one.
I have a hunch.
Is it from the thunder cannon on your back? And with a couple of levels, you get to get some magic items for free. If you get to 3rd level, you start to get a few more spells. If you went all the way to 6th level, you'd get a mechanical servant, and it could be large. You could get a giant crab for your giant crab to mount while you mount your giant crab. Just throwing it out there.
It just sounds exhausting.
Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily suggest picking it up all the way to 6th level anyway. It's not
the entire sessions of, okay, which crab were you talking about?
So that's one option. But at the very least, at 1 and 2, you get that's when you get some pretty beefy stuff. At 3rd level, you get extra damage on the thunder cannon that levels up if you took more in the class. But that's about all I would say is kind of reasonable if you're just dipping in.
The moment I decided to play yet another Mad Inventor, because I have played this kind of archetype before, I had a very conscious thought of trying my damnedest to not become Percy from Critical Role. And I think the hand cannon is just opening that door.
Well, it's 2-handed. I imagine it's shoulder.
Everything's 2-handed. I'm a gnome.
But fair play. I mean, it's basically bad news from Critical Role. And while I love that show, we don't have to play Critical Role. So how much more leveling up time do we think we need? You guys got your hit points figured? Any new skill proficiencies or expertise? I know Struana is probably still suffering through.
I'm going to be lagging behind, but since I'm essentially going to be using downtime for this session anyway, I'm not too stressed about it.
Yeah, mostly.
But I'm pretty strongly looking at multi-classing in Warlock. I would definitely like the otherworldly patron to be in the Archfey realm, because, well, sure, like Finger of Portent, sure, but like Fey Presence works really well with the Bard. Already.
My Warlock is a very bardy Warlock. He's Fey.
I may, a long time ago, have foreseen this potentiality later on in the game, and already incorporated some Archfey. You may have already run into something that could quite easily serve as a patron if that's the direction you want to go.
That is probably the direction I want to go, and I know what you're referencing. Like,
DM, how is passive perception calculated?
I believe it's
10 plus your skill bonus.
that sounds right.
Then mine's 20.
That's disgusting. You got yourself some expertise, did you?
Yeah.
I will make sure that's how that's calculated, but however it's calculated, expertise is going to make it disgusting.
You get to up 2 skills, and I upped perception and stealth.
Nice.
It's an excellent call. Excellent call. Rather than expertise on your tinker's tools.
What?
Could have put it on your tinker's tools, right? Or is it only thieves' tools you can do that with?
It's the way it phrased it. It sounded like it was just thieves' tools. So and fine.
Yeah.
I can. It makes sense to me that the rogue skills improve his perception and his stealth. It didn't make sense to me that the rogue skills made him a better inventor.
Although getting thieves' tools would make an amount of sense. At this point, you've already worked with traps and things. Like, oh god, if I just had a long, thin...
Well, I can make thieves' tools.
Yeah, but that doesn't make you proficient in them. I mean, having them just gives you the proficiency bonus, but having them and being proficient gives you double. If you don't have the tools, you're just on your stats. Have a nice day.
Right. I think I'd rather just be absurdly observant.
Okay.
I think I'm still gonna want to buy some just to have that available, but I'm not worried about being epic at it.
Yeah. And there is the observant feat that you could take coming up next level. Just throwing it out there. You guys might want to take a look at feats coming up. Although if you're multi-classing, those will come up later, actually. Come to think of it.
Well, it's supposed to come up at.
Well, it's not every 4th character level anymore. It's every 4th level of a class. So that is one other thing that multi-classing affects is how quick you get your feats. So, like, if you never get to level 12 of Bard or Rogue or Ranger, like, it'll be a while before you get your next feat. It'll be 4 levels.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just for feats, or is that also for stat improvements?
Also for that, because the stat improvement is that's what you swap out to get a feat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that comes up in your class, not in like a character progression like it used to. Good thing to note.
I'm working on starting to fill this lovely thing in. I do believe I'm multi-classing in Warlock because I've also never played a straight spellcaster, so this should be exciting because I'm still not doing it. But it does mean that I'm at a lack of understanding about spellcasters in the D&D system.
Here's how you fix that. Dive in with both feet.
Yes, that's usually how I fix it.
Right?
Let's do it! Is this the way I do it? Am I doing it? I think I'm doing it. Yes, I'm doing it.
So that's going to require some narrative stuff before you gain your benefits. Okay. But you will work into that probably over this session. Does anybody else feel like there's anything they're going to need to have worked in RP-wise, like learning Thieves' Cant, maybe?
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah. Well, you're in touch with somebody that's in a roguey type guild. You're also in touch. A great insurance agent. So.
Right.
Is that your entry point? Are you oh my god, you're gonna be in, oh god, what's the word, the person who does the math, the insurance adjuster? Damn it. actuary. That's
Actuary.
I think of. Is going to be an actuary. We'll see. We'll see if that's how it goes once he gets officially back.
So looking at this, my understanding of multi-classing is I just add together my spell slots. I just get more fucking spells. More freaking
Is that
spells.
spells known or spells per day?
What?
Is that spells known or spells per
known. Well,
Okay.
I can double check the language because that's important. That's just your available spell slots. Okay. And because I know a lot more spells than I typically have because of the lore stuff. It does a thing about. So I'm trying to work out a way to make that work better.
Both of yours are spontaneous casts. Neither of them you don't switch per day. You have spells that are in your head, and you can cast them a number of times.
Okay.
Warlock is another one of those. You select your spells ahead of time forever, or you can swap them out at your levels. Also, by the way, if there's spells you don't need anymore or that have been eclipsed by higher level spells, swap them.
I'm looking at cantrips, switching out some of the cantrips because I now have access to Warlock cantrips. So that might be a thing that happens because, like, I just have too many. I have so many cantrips. But I'm looking at the. I'm printing off the class sheets for each Warlock and Bard just so I have those for reference. And then I'm going to look at the spell sheets and start adding in spell things, which I know I don't have access to until we roleplay through the, like, now I have a fairy.
Right. Until stuff happens, stuff hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Leveling up was so easy, I drew a picture of Stan. While y'all were debating about artificers, I'm just another paladin.
I have to just imagine the sort of thing that Aura of Courage means in, like, day-to-day real-life interactions. I mean, for instance, as just like somebody sitting at the bar is all of a sudden unafraid of everything. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go out and get that job. You know what? I'm going to hit on that girl right on it after I have a hit of this ogre booze. Oh!
This is only going to make his drinking problem worse.
Or better.
Right. Well, you've been immune to fear for a minute. No, this is when you become immune to fear, right?
No, I've been immune to the frightened effect.
Yeah. Picking spells known. It's pretty easy for a warlock because you don't get a lot.
Eldritch Blast is your best friend.
Mm-hmm. Everybody figured out their new proficiencies. You probably your new bonus, any new class features.
I'm sorry, the thing that I mentioned that I can't remember the name of now because I don't have the practice where everyone likes me. It is called
Fey Presence.
Fey Presence. That's I don't have it yet until I get it, but it is. I can use an action to cause any creature in a 10-foot cube make a Wisdom save. Creatures that fail it are charmed or frightened, whichever I prefer.
Right, just
which works. Cool. Which is a great, like, if you're performing in a crowd of people and you just try to, and half of them, think that you're pretty great. That's going to be a great performance.
And that there can either be a visual change or it can just be your charisma does that for that amount of time.
I feel like that works better for the bard anyway. Like they're just you're listening to the music and just suddenly it just hits you upside the head and you're like, I get it.
I was intimidating. I was interrogating a tied up bandit leader as my tiny gnome warlock, and without telling anyone else, I just activated that and made myself frightening. And the guys like just started going, ah, 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 and I'm just sitting there, cute little gnome face smiling at him.
Can't imagine what the problem is.
His entire
I feel
band 20 feet away, just wondering what happened to their leader.
I like it. The other thing is that because of Pact Magic, I now regain all expended spell slots after a short rest as well.
Yes.
So that's a great...
Yes. It's a big deal.
Excited.
Well, and that will activate once we play out how you gain your pact, because that'll happen in play. Before you dropped out, David, we were asking, are you going to go the insurance agent route? Are you going to become an actuarial to learn your thieves' cant and rogue stuff?
No.
Okay.
That's far too long of a path. They keep dragging him to bars, and he could not give a flying fuck less about bars. So he's just been sitting there watching everyone. And so he's seeing all the underhanded stuff no one else is noticing because they're hammered. And he starts paying extra attention to the shady people who are like pickpocketing and, sending signals and all that. And he gets fascinated and starts studying it. And where that leads, I don't know, but that's where he's going to tip into it, is like, there's something going on here that most people aren't aware of, but there's a math to it.
Sure. And you already have, like I said, some points of contact that already know the ins and outs and can teach you the language specifically.
I think this
Right.
officially
the skill stuff, that's not that hard.
I think this officially makes Struana and I a bad influence, though.
That happened.
We are your mother warned you about.
Right. Is any other aspect of your guys' leveling up or multi-classing going to require anything from me to set in scenes? Okay.
I am going to try to reattune and attune to the Rod of Absorption and reattune to the Finger of Portent this session.
Okay. How many attuned items is that for you?
That will make it 3. That is where I hit 3. I didn't do it previously because for some reason I thought it was 2. But then you updated us outside that it was 3. That's what you said. So
Indeed. All right. Well, in that case, if everybody has their numbers and their new skills and has recorded their new hit points, make sure you record your hit points. That's the thing I always forget. And I'm like, why does my Paladin have 9 hit points? Then we'll level them up. All right. Well, in that case, we will get started right after this break. Thanks, everybody, for watching. This has been our leveling up session. We are, of course, on Twitter, YouTube, Patreon, all of the places. Check our links in the doobly-doo, and we'll be back soon with actual gameplay. Until then, have a good game.